Hi everyone, welcome back to Money and Machine, where finance meets AI. I'm your host, Abiodun Ajanaku, finance professional, AI and machine learning expert. I'm going to be guiding you through the fast evolving intersection of finance and AI. If you tune in to the last episode, which is the first episode of this podcast, you know we explore how AI is transforming financial decision making for businesses. Specifically, we look at three areas: predictive analytics, how AI can be used to predict revenue and then help businesses manage their costs accurately. We also look at how an AI powered risk assessment system can help investor, right, gauge the financial health of businesses and their growth trajectory before they put money or invest in such business. And AI powered risk assess model can also help venture capital to invest smartly in startup and also improve investment outcomes as much as possible. We also looked at how AI can also help automate a lot of the day-to-day routine tasks that finance professionals carry out within the organization. These are the key area that we look at in the first episode. If you tune in into that episode, in today's episode, we are going to be looking at an important topic that a lot of business owner, finance professional, and even startup founder wrestle with. And this topic is financial forecasting. Financial forecasting is one of the very tangible and high impact use cases of AI in business decision making, right? It is so because financial forecasts leverage on vast or big data relating to historical financial data and operational data to deliver smarter, accurate, and then informed decision making for businesses. Yeah, in today's episode as well, we are going to be focusing on how AI is redefining financial forecasting and how AI is moving it from educated guesswork into a data driven accuracy as much as possible. Um, let's be honest, traditional approach to financial forecasting is very messy because it relies on outdated assumption, right? And the approach is a bit reactive to the current situation, right? Think about a situation where the environment shift, like a pandemic, um, inflation spike, or a market downtime, right? Imagine having an AI or machine learning predictive system that can help you adjust to that kind of environmental shift in your business environment, right? Adjust your forecast using real-time data as the environment shift. Now, this is the power of AI, automating learning from your financial data to help you make informed decision. Yeah, this is why AI is very, has more benefit when you compare it to traditional approach to forecasting. They can learn from data. They can help business spot trend as much as possible, and that will drive informed decision and put businesses in a very strong competitive advantage. Yeah, in this podcast, I'm going to be talking about four areas that AI and machine learning model can be beneficial to businesses in this current global environment. Yeah, the first area is around spotting trend and pattern in data that human eyes cannot catch. Now, because machine learning and AI model learn from data really, really quickly, these are some of the areas that is overlooked by professional. So with an AI machine learning model, they can pick up trend that human eye cannot catch. Yeah, the second area where AI or a machine learning model can be very, very beneficial to business in innovating their growth is around spotlighting the risks associated to a particular business, right? Just using baseline information about the business, machine learning model can predict the risks associated to the business and whether those risks are high, medium, or low. and what the business can do to put in the necessary mitigant to reduce or avoid those risks as much as possible. The third area machine learning can be very beneficial to business is around developing different scenarios, around the business, a good case or a base case, a best case or a worst case. I was talking area if an environment shift, like a pandemic, inflation spike. Do we have enough scenario that can guide the business to be very resilient, to navigate a lot of those turbulent times or the different scenario as much as possible? The fourth area where machine learning could be very, very beneficial when you compare it to traditional way of forecasting is around the model learning from real-time data. So as the model is exposed to more data, as it learns and improves its performance with a very high level of accuracy and precision at the same time. These are the benefits of machine learning to businesses. These are the way businesses can position themselves to innovate their growth and also to keep them in a very competitive advantage in the current business environment. Let's imagine what we need to do to be able to build a lot of this machine learning model that we are talking about. But let's be clear, AI doesn't perform magic on messy data. The veracity of the data is very, very important to establish the performance and the level of accuracy of the output that is coming from machine learning model. So there are certain criteria or certain success factor that needs to be put in place for a learning model to be able to strive or to perform really well. Right. One of the first one is having a very structured and clean data within the enterprise. Now, data coming from your financial software, from your enterprise resource planning system are very, very important in building a very, very top-notch AI and machine learning model for your business, right? Those data needs to be structured as much as possible, and then they can then be used to develop a machine learning model in the context of the problem that the business want to address. For example, a business that want to ensure that they have a system that can automatically predict revenue and expenses with a very high level of accuracy needs to be putting in place data, structure and clean data around their historical revenue data, their sales, and even strategic indicator um, like your growth rate, year-on-year growth rate, and also your operational data, like your marketing spend, etc. All of these are very important for a model to be able to predict with a very high level of accuracy, right? The next thing that needs to be put into consideration will be defining or using the appropriate model, that the machine learning can use to sort of predict with a very high level of accuracy. So the problem we define the kind of model that a business wants to build or an expert needs to build for a business to be able to predict risks or manage expense as much as possible. Last but not the least is to clearly define a feedback loop to train and improve the performance of the machine learning model. This is the approach I follow to develop and deploy a simple, streamlined web application that can help organizations accurately predict their annual operating budget with a high level of accuracy as much as possible. With an AI powered predictive system like the one that I've built, uh, business can adjust their financial forecast in real time. They can build model that can help them innovate their future. The interesting thing about AI power model is they evolve with the business, not against the business. This is why an AI model is superior compared to traditional approach that is basically based on Excel, rigorous manual analysis, which are really outdated and reactive. In this short demo, I'm going to be walking you through an AI power annual operating budget that I built using Streamlit um, web application. And then the whole essence of this predictive model is to help organizations to predict their annual operating budgets with a high level of accuracy. And this is on the back of the problem that a lot of business owner and finance professional face, which is accurately forecasting annual operating budget and expenses. And I think this has been a very daunting task for a lot of finance professionals for a very long time. And the whole of this predictive model is to address that problem as much as possible. So, in terms of problem definition, is to help organization address the challenges of forecasting and predicting annual revenue and expenses with a high level of accuracy. So this app provides a solution to be able to do that in a very smart way with just a few clicks as much as possible. So for business owner, investor, and finance professional wondering how can we apply AI to some of our finance function? This is it. And I'm going to be walking you through that process. Now, in terms of how or the context around the predictive app, it was developed based on four baseline information of any organization. The first one is the business profile in terms of the industry or sector that business operates. Under that again, you look at the stage of the business, whether the business is a startup, a mature, or a growth startup. These are basic business profile information that are also variables or inputs used in developing the predictive model. Another variable that was used in developing this model is the growth and strategic indicator like year over year revenue growth, personnel headcount or headcount, increase in headcount as much as possible. So we also use historical data, past information about the business. And for companies who don't have historical data as well, it's easy to use the app. Historical data on revenue, cost, capital expenditure, and last but not the least is operational metrics like marketing spend. Is one of the variables that we also use in this predictive model. So it's a very simple tool to use. In a very short and few clicks, you'll be able to predict your annual revenue and expenses with a very high level of accuracy. And the beauty of this app is you can also use it on your mobile phone by just clicking on the QR code. You can use it on your mobile phone, but it's just a minimum viable product MPV that I've managed to build just to demo beyond just explaining the strategic insight of application of AI in driving business decision. Can we also see the real life application, what someone has built on, and this is a clear case of it, what I've built to showcase to everyone about the application of AI in predicting budgets for any business. So you can use it on your mobile phone as well. The landing page gives you a basic instruction of what to do. You land on the page, you go further down to then beginning to enter all the inputs relating to your business or relating to the venture that you want to predict the annual operating budget. If you are using it on your mobile phone, feel free to scan the QR code and use it. So it starts with the first input, which is choose either a basic or advanced. And this tool has been designed for both a finance and non-finance professional, so that it's user-friendly for everyone to use it, regardless of your domain or your business context. So you can use it. So you can choose your view. The basic view just use basic information to predict your annual revenue in a very clear and concise manner. The advanced view, you can then, input your capital expenditure and some other expenses that you might not see under the basic view. So both finance and non-finance professional can use this predictive app as much as possible. So the next session is selecting your industry sector. Like I said earlier, industry sector is your business profile, basic information about your business. So I will select, for the purpose of demo, I will select industry profile, I will select healthcare. And this is very important because the model has been built with a number of factors relating to each sector. So if you click healthcare, there are some variables that are tied to healthcare. So the model will automatically predict all of the fundamentals relating to the healthcare sector. So business stage, I will choose startup as the business stage. Location, I will choose Africa. You can see a drop down for you to select location: Africa, USA, Europe, Asia, and others. If your location is not listed, just click on others. So I will just, for the purpose of demo, I will click Africa. Then we'll go to the next input, which is your historical data, your last year revenue. What was your last year revenue? I'll put the last year revenue as um, $1.5 million. That was the last year revenue for the purpose of demo. Then what was the last year operating expenses? These are historical data, because historical data are also important in building machine learning model to be able to learn from previous data and then be able to predict the future. I didn't mention when we started this demo, the predictive system can actually predict from 6 months horizon, right? So you can use it to predict your annual operating budget from 6 months to 60 months, 60 months, which is 5 year horizon. So that is the beauty of this predictive system. So last year expenses, I will put $500,000. Then annual revenue growth, I will select 25%, which comes to about 2% monthly revenue growth. These are strategic and growth indicator that is very, very important in building a new machine learning model. Then in terms of current headcount is the number of staff your business have. I will put 10 at a minute. Then how do you project to see this headcount to grow over the period you want to forecast? I would say to grow by 30%. So I will select that by just using this slider to select the percentage of growth. Then expected inflation rate in your region, I would say 25% in my region for the purpose of this demo. 25% inflation rate for my region. Then forecast horizon. You see, you can forecast from 60 months. So look at the drop down. You can forecast from 6 months to 60 months, which is from 6 months to 5 years. So I will choose 18 months is what I want to forecast for. Then this is what I was saying earlier. With the machine learning and AI model, you are not only just planning the future, you are simulating the future. So the beauty of this AI model is help you to simulate. Like the first projection I want to do, I can say is the base case, which is just where we are at a minute, right? And that's what I want to do now. Then you can also select either a professional view or conversational view. Professional view, keep the reports that you will download from this app, keep it clean and more professional without heavy text on them. So I'll say professional. Now, once I've now entered all the inputs that is required by the predictive model, I will click on forecast budget to forecast annual operating budget for the next 18 months. That's what I want to forecast. And let's see what the output will come up. Now you can see it's telling me now that my forecasted total budget is 1.176576.97 cent. So this predictive model is built to predict in US dollar, right, as much as possible. If you are predicting your local currency, you can assume your own context to predict, but it's meant to predict in a US dollar. Like I said, is a minimum viable product MPV that I just built to demo what I've been talking in the last two episodes. So you can see the breakdown of the annual revenue. You can see it from month 1 to 18, how your revenue grow by month and how your operating expenses grow. Your net income, whether it's profit or loss, you can see it in the fourth column. So you can see the month. The second column is revenue. Um, the third column is expenses. The fourth column is net. You can also go further down to see the chart. And if you hover around it, you can at each data point, you can see the revenue, the expenses, net income as you go over a period of 18 months. It's a very simple and very clean budget predictive model just to help us drive what we've been talking about, the real life application of machine learning and AI as much as possible. So having predicted all of this, if you want a report you can download for your stakeholder to show your stakeholder or use for your future planning cycle, you can just click on download PDF report with commentary. Yeah. So once you download it with commentary, you can see the screen. Yeah. You see the operating budget. It gives you an executive summary that you can read, right? It tells you, oh, what has been predicted, your revenue is greater than your estimated expenses. So therefore, you are in profit. It tells you what you can do with your profit, reinvest back into the business for research and development, and it gives you other things you can do. If your expenses is greater than your revenue, if once you do that prediction as well, the system tells you the step you need to take to address whatever deficit you've encountered. So I'm seeing on that screen, just to show, this is just a simple way of showing you what AI can do in terms of predicting annual operating budget for businesses. You can go further down as well to download CSV. It also allows you to download CSV file. So if I want to download CSV file as well, this is the CSV file as well. To sort of see all the data, you can download this data and use it as much as possible. Then if I want to predict I can also tell the model to predict a what's it called, an aggressive, which is a more optimistic scenario, right? Which is also known as best case scenario. A conservative scenario is more like, oh, it's not the base case, it's not optimistic, it's just a midpoint, which is a good scenario. So if I want to do an aggressive scenario, I will just come back and change some of the assumption. For aggressive, I can take my annual revenue growth to about 50%. That's more aggressive. So you can just change all the assumption and then you come back, just click forecast. It will then download your aggressive scenario for you. You can compare it with what you've projected earlier and do that comparison. Like I said earlier, AI is the game changer. And with AI, you can move from just hoping to knowing, from lagging indicator to leading decision for your enterprise, which is very, very important. So this is just a way of just demonstrating to you all what AI can do. And companies who have started using AI or investing in AI to drive operational excellence are the ones that will put themselves in a prime position to innovate their growth and also become leader in the industry. Yeah, so this is the short demo just to support all the strategic insight I've been given in the first episode and this episode. So, what is the bottom line? AI won't replace finance professional or take anyone role. The people who are using AI or the people who are positioning themselves to use AI will elevate themselves and amplify their role as much as possible, right? With an AI power forecasting system, organization can move from hoping to knowing. They can also move from lagging indicators to leading decision as much as possible. And they can also, instead of just planning for the future, simulate the future as much as possible. In the next episode, I'm going to be discussing how AI can be used to, to manage financial risks and how organizations can benefit from such AI predictive model. If you have any question, comment, thought about today's episode, drop me a message, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's keep the conversation going. Until the next episode, stay data driven, keep forecasting forward, keep innovating. Thank you for the time in watching this episode.